Lara Trump, the head of the RNC, got pretty badly embarrassed on CNN this morning when she had an interview. She was asked about a recent social media post from Donald Trump, basically again claiming voter fraud, and she was asked to defend it, and that is virtually an impossible task. So you can only imagine how it went. So I'm going to show you this clip. We'll talk about it a little bit, but before I do so, make sure to subscribe to this channel down below. It really helps. It goes an incredibly long way. Happy debate day, by the way, everybody. But now let's just dive right in. So here's the clip on your screen, and let's just see what we got here.
Lara, I also want to ask you about something he posted recently on Truth Social, where he actually called on the RNC, the organization you're a co-chair of, to activate now. And this was around mail-in voting. He said, he was quoting Tucker Carlson here with an election expert, that 20% of mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania are fraudulent. Here we go again. Where is the Attorney General, the FBI to investigate? Where is the Republican Party in Pennsylvania? The RNC must activate now. Now, in August, the RNC, your RNC, and the Trump campaign launched a Get Out to Vote tool where Pennsylvania voters can request a mail-in ballot directly. Is the former president saying that Republicans in Pennsylvania should not ask for these ballots?
And no, quite the opposite. Donald Trump wants every voter, no matter if you're voting Republican, Democrat, or third-party candidate, to feel comfortable that you can vote.
20% of them are fraudulent?
He's specifically referencing information from the 2020 election. What we're talking about right now is making sure that every vote matters and every vote counts. And I've worked very hard.
What information do we have?
RNC.
What evidence is there that 20% of the mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania in 2020 were fraudulent?
I didn't see that report, so I'd have to go back and look at it. So I can't directly speak to that. But what I can tell you is we've worked very hard on the ground at the RNC to make sure every voter in this country feels like when you cast a ballot, whether it's via mail, whether it's early voting in person, or whether it's on election day in an election office around the country, your vote matters and your vote counts. And Donald Trump very much wants every Republican voter to vote however they feel most comfortable, and every voter in this country to vote however they feel most comfortable. So I would have to go back and look at that. I have not studied that.
All right. Lara Trump, I do very much appreciate.
Wow, what a terrible answer. I think that answer is probably about as good as her recent music releases. I mean, just garbage. It is just terrible because there's so much hypocrisy embedded in what she's saying. You know, Lara Trump here is trying to make the case that the Republicans, they support mail-in voting, that actually they're encouraging people to mail-in vote, while simultaneously their nominee for president, Donald Trump, is still perpetuating the lie of the 2020 election, saying that this form of voting is fraudulent. You know, the Republicans would actually benefit from mail-in voting. It would actually help their election chances. The Democrats understand this because it just makes it easier for people to vote. If there's a less of a burden, people are more incentivized to vote. It takes less time out of their day. You just fill it out, you drop it in a mailbox, and you're done, right? It's that easy. The Democrats understand this. The Republicans still not so much. So Lara Trump is doing everything she can in this interview to try to make her people believe that mail-in voting is safe, while simultaneously the guy at the top of the ticket is shooting himself in the foot by continuing to claim that mail-in voting is fraudulent. It's just such a poorly run party, and there's so much hypocrisy embedded in their rhetoric. And I also just think it's so funny how Casey Hunt, the CNN host, got her to basically admit that there's no evidence of any of these claims that Donald Trump is making. Like, he's claiming that 20% of mail-in ballots are fraudulent, and she's saying that that applies to 2020 data, and that Donald Trump is obviously referencing the 2020 election, and she knows that for a fact. And so Casey Hunt says, well, where is this data? Where is this evidence? And she's like, oh, well, you know, I haven't seen it yet. It's like, what? What? You're like talking about data that you haven't seen yet? And by the way, newsflash, I mean, as you probably know this by now, this data does not exist. This is not real data. Of course, this is total nonsense. I mean, you know, in the first sentence, we knew it was nonsense. He goes, according to Tucker Carlson, automatically right off the bat, you know it's not real. But it's just so funny. It's so funny, this balancing act that they're trying to play with Donald Trump continuing to lie about the 2020 election, continuing to lie about mail-in voting, while simultaneously promoting that type of voting. I don't know. The Republican Party has found themselves in a pretzel, weird kind of mix right now, and it's just really hurting their election chances. And I just, Laura Trump has been in the news recently. It's just interesting to see her on CNN because, as I kind of alluded to earlier, she keeps putting out music, songs that are just really, really bad. And this has been in the news cycle recently. And she's been going back at her music critics saying they can't knock me for fundraising. This is the chair of the RNC. She's talking about fundraising while talking about releasing music. It's just kind of crazy. And look at this quote right here. All of those, anything I've done in a musical sense has all been prior to my role in the RNC. The timing of these things, of course, is very confident that people are trying to knock me for this. I've been very clear about what my job is to win this election and Republicans for all the way down the ticket. I assume that they can't knock me for fundraising as the co-chair of the RNC or for anything else we've done. And I just find that last quote so ironic and so funny and also very contradictory to fact because we actually have data on this and we can knock her for fundraising. So we can call her music bad, but we can also point out how she's doing a pretty terrible job at the RNC because the Kamala Harris campaign raised $361 million in August, more than double. That's right, more than double Donald Trump's fundraising numbers. Trump's team announced that he raised $130 million in August. So 361 million to 131 million, that's quite the difference. So there's not much redeeming about Lara Trump being at the head of the RNC or I don't even know why they continue to send her out there on CNN or these other news outlets to try to defend Donald Trump because number one, not only is she just not very good at it, but number two, it's an impossible task to try to defend Donald Trump's rhetoric, especially when it applies to voting. I don't even know what she's trying to accomplish here. I gotta be honest, when I see stuff like this, it makes me even more proud to be a Kamala Harris supporter and a proud Democrat. Like, I'm always proud to be a Democrat, but especially in moments like these, because the Kamala Harris campaign is competent. They have people who are actually good at their jobs, not just people who are related to the Republican nominee for president and the guy who's the cult leader of the Republican Party right now. It's like Kamala Harris actually cares about the country. She's running for a reason to make the country better. Donald Trump is running to keep himself out of prison. And the Republicans are all kind of in on it. They all kind of know that. They just don't really care. They are perfectly fine with that being Donald Trump's reason to run for president, which is sad and pathetic at the exact same time. Just like Laura Trump's music. Sorry. I had to get another jab in there. I apologize. But regardless, I just wanted to show you that clip. I just, think it's remarkable that this is what the RNC is up to these days. It's so ridiculous. So I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. Also drop a like on the video and comment. Let me know what you think about this Lara Trump clip. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, very much so. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and enjoy the debate tonight. It's going to be a good one.